All right, y'all, this is MrLetGo, and we're about to have a very interesting conversation about are single mothers coercing young women who don't have children into becoming single mothers. And I've heard this so many times, and I'm like, yo, this has to be talked about. So I have a beautiful co-host with me today, the real Nicole. So introduce yourself real quick. Oh, you got to unmute.
Okay, there we go. Hey everyone, my name is Nicole Hutchins. I'm an esthetician and business owner here in Houston, Texas, and I'm just excited to be here with Mr. Let Go to talk about a subject that I feel is also near and dear to my heart and very important. So, and I just want to say I feel like I'm doing my part as a woman in her 30s to help other women who are much younger than me by having these conversations.
That's a fact because there's a lot of pressure on women, really of all adult ages, to just go out and have a baby. You know, and I think it's sad. I think it's sick, and we're going to talk about it because I got some questions for you, but I just want to have dialogue with everybody and get an understanding of what's actually happening just in our community. So let me shout some folks out real quick. Shout out to Jason, Ellen. Ellen's in New Mexico. Shout out to Louisville, Kentucky. And what's going on, Shira? So, real quick, I want to just preface this by saying one, I am not here to talk mess about single mothers and all this other stuff. But I think it's important for you single mothers out there, what's up, Dana, to stay in your own lane and leave these other women alone. That's the main thing. Like, leave these other women alone. If you have or choose to ruining your own life by, I keep hearing a noise, Nicole.
Okay.
There's a
Hold on.
clicking noise.
Do you still hear it?
Just, just stop touching everything. Let me see. All right. Hold on.
Hold
Just
on.
stop touching stuff. Just
Yeah,
stop.
I was placing. I think it's because my laptop is near my phone. I was trying to connect it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think it's your. Gotcha. Okay, so the first thing I wanna talk to y'all about is what Nicole is going to tell y'all is something that I've heard plenty times from different women, because I know a lot of women who don't have kids, and the majority of them, I would say it again, the majority of them have these random conversations with women of all ages, whether it's family members, friends, co-workers, and they look at you like you crazy because you don't have any kids. And it almost is like they make it where like it's this rite of passage to be a woman. And if you don't have kids, not you aren't married, but if you don't have kids, you're a bad person or whatever. So that's what we're going to talk about. Everything's is better now, Nicole. I can't hear you now. Something happened. You there? Say something real quick. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Yes. Okay. So come out and come back in, and we'll figure it out. Just come out and then come back in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. She's having audio difficulties. So single mothers, to a certain degree, are guilting young women who don't have children into becoming single mothers like them. And that's the reason why the thumbnail is so hilarious, because in the thumbnail, you see women on the thumbnail like they are vampires. And to a certain degree, there is somewhat of a similarity to vampires that some single mothers actually have. Because if you just think about a vampire has gotten bitten by somebody. Everybody hit the like button, 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 everybody take a second and hit the like button. So if you just think about a vampire, right? A normal person just walking down the street or whatever, and then next thing you know, they get bit by a vampire. So now they have an affliction. They are vampires. And what is it? What does that vampire seem to want to do all the time? Inflict somebody else with the affliction. So I want y'all to think about that. A vampire tries to make more people vampires. Because if a vampire is just a vampire, okay, all right, stay over there, do what you do. But no, they look to make other people vampires. So that's where the actual thumbnail came from. But my question is, why do single mothers want other women to become single mothers? Well, my only assumption is this. The more single mothers there are out here, the more normalized single motherhood actually will be. And if everybody is a single mother, guess what? It's normal. And in a Black community, we are almost like that now. All right, let's see if Nicole is on here.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so good. All right, so what are your thoughts on this single motherism? Women are like vampires looking to make other women single mothers like them, like vampires. What is your thought on that?
Okay, well, I don't know about the whole vampire thing, but I first want to put a disclaimer out here that like you said before, we're not here to bash single mothers or anything like that. I think for me personally, it's the pressure of single mothers trying to make women who are not single mothers, pressuring them to have kids without marriage. And so for me personally, I don't want to have children before marriage. And so I was sharing off the camera. I shared a story with MrLetGo on something that happened literally this past weekend, you guys. And I was out with family, and we just happened to meet some random people. It was two lovely ladies, you know what I mean, middle-aged ladies, but they were amazing. And so it's normal to have a conversation, I feel like, when you're 25 and up, about if you have children or if you plan on having children. So that question was posed to me, and I said no. They asked me my age. I told them my age, and they kind of looked off and kind of weird at me, like, what are you waiting for? And they were like, oh, so are you what are you doing, like waiting for marriage or whatnot? And I'm like, yeah, I just straightforward said yes. And one lady said, well, what happens if you don't meet the type of man that you want to have babies with? I said, well, then it looks like that would mean I probably would not have children, and I'm thinking this is obvious. And then her friend asked and said, well, um why would you wait for a man to have a child? And I paused and I looked at her like, really, just think about what you just asked me right now. Really think about that. Why would I wait for a man to have a child? And I just didn't know people have this inclination just to go out and have children for the sake of having children. And so even if even if it is or is not a money issue thing, it's still a struggle for single women to take care of a child by themselves. And that's the part that people are not talking about. You know what I mean? You can have all this money, you can have six figures, it still takes a lot. And I grew up with, most of the people in my family are men. all my cousins and uncles and everything like that. So I hear the things that they talk about and different things of that nature. And they are in full support of me waiting
Yeah.
until marriage to have a child. In worst case scenario, look, if I have to adopt, which I don't want to, if we have to go through surrogacy or whatever, or if I just become a bonus mom, it is what it is. But I am not pushing out a baby without marriage.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful for you saying that, because it's getting to a point where every woman is a single mom, and it's like terrible, and it's not that a single mother is terrible. And I want to just let you guys know about the reason why I have an issue with single motherhood. It's not about single mothers that I have a problem with. The problem I have is the normalization of single motherhood is different. The normalization of single motherhood is the thing that I have a problem with, not single mothers. Because if you have a child, I can't condemn you because you had a child, but I can tell you that if you do it again, you will be condemned. I can say that any woman that isn't a single mom, and you turn around and become a single mom in this late way of the world, 2022, 2023, it's like somebody becoming a crackhead in 2023. Back in the 80s, you don't know all the dangers and all the risks and what's going to happen and how your life can fall apart because you start going to a party and you smoke some crack because somebody says, hey, smoke some crack. But in 2023, if you're becoming a crackhead, now there's something even crazier, because we have more information now in 2023 versus back in the 80s. So when it comes to women just becoming single mothers, it's an issue because the first thing you want to ask yourself is, you have all this information and you still become a single mother? Women run around all the time talking about how hard single motherhood is, how you can actually die from childbirth, but it still happens. You know what I mean? So why do you think women feel the need to push this narrative onto other women who don't have kids, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I feel that this narrative is pushed even till this day because, like you said earlier, it's part of our culture. It's part of our community, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you've heard the saying, misery loves company. And I'm not saying every single mother out there is miserable. That's not what I'm saying. But we also know that it's not something that people wake up and strive for either. So for me,
wait, you don't think they strive to be single mothers?
No, like what I mean is I don't think someone wakes up in the morning and is like, hey, I want to become a single mother today. Like I just can't fathom that.
Okay, it goes back to this. Say a man needs some money, right? And he's too lazy to go get a job. And he goes out, wakes up in the morning and says, you know what? I'm going to go sell some dope. You know what? I'm going to go steal a car. You know what? I'm going to nobody robs a bank without planning on robbing a bank, right? You got to kind of like plan that out. All right, we're going to do this and you're going to take this side and we're going to do this. We got to be out in 45 seconds. The guy's going to be the getaway car driver. So he's not planning on going to prison, but he's planning on robbing a bank. So women aren't planning to become single mothers, but what else you think is going to happen? Because if me and you, Nicole, go rob a bank, what is the probability of us going to prison?
It's a very high probability.
99%, right? So with all that being said, did I plan on going to prison? Yeah. Well, you didn't plan on going to prison, but you kind of want to go to prison. Because if not, why don't we just go get jobs, Nicole? instead of robbing a bank. So we as human beings, we as adults, we have common sense. And we both know if we go rob a bank and stick up the people, we're going to get caught. We're going to go to prison. It's a small possibility that we get away. But guess what happens to bank robbers after they rob a bank? They rob another bank. No bank robber in history has ever robbed one bank. They rob bank after bank after bank because it's so simple and so easy. You run in there, give me all your money, all this other stuff. Next thing you know, boom, you got, I don't know, $200,000, right? It's so simple. Where you like, yo, we got to do this again. So just like with unprotected sex or women who are pookie pickers who sleep with random dudes who know isn't going to be there for the child. It's so simple and it's so easy. Well, they just do it again. So you have sex unprotected, nothing happens. You know, your period comes on and you're like, whew, okay. But guess what? You do the same thing next month and then your period comes. And then the third month, guess what? A whole nother month of having unprotected sex with this dude again.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm sure we all understand, at least I hope so, that when we lay down with someone, there is a risk that the woman can become pregnant.
Just
Now,
like robbing a bank.
huh?
Just like robbing a bank, there's a high risk.
I don't know why you use that analogy, but whatever. I'm not. That's not fair. I'm sorry.
Okay, why not?
It's just, come on now, like having consensual sex with someone versus robbing a bank. I mean,
unprotected sex with somebody. How I'm looking at.
But then you have those people that say, "Well, Aaron, I used the condom and it broke." Like,
I'm saying unprotected sex. I understand. Okay. I'm not saying because I have sex. You have sex. We all have sex. But you already know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Some of us are doing certain things knowing that something is going to happen. So it goes back to what you said. You said nobody wakes up in the morning saying, I want to become a single mother. And I just wanted to give you a scenario that would actually go against that, where a lot of us, if somebody's in the bed with us, mm-hmm. we just gonna roll over up in there with no condom. And either you're not saying, hey, I want to become a single father, single mother, but altogether, you know what you're doing.
Right. But then we have those other precautions in place, right? Like plan Bs, birth control, different things of that nature. I would assume people, that's why my logic is people don't wake up saying, I want to be a single mother today. If you know, mm-hmm. if there was anyone like that I may have been involved with on an intimate level, I'm not saying, okay, I'm doing this because I want to be a single parent. It's just mm-hmm. we're sharing an intimate moment with each other, and we're being smart enough to use the precautions mm-hmm. to lessen the chances and likelihood of a pregnancy happening. Mm-hmm. And then I hate to say, I'm not saying I'm in support of this, but there's still the A word, right? That's still an option. That's an option for some people. For some people, is what I'm saying. For some people, what do you mean it is?
I thought that was a law where you can't do. I don't know.
Oh, in the state of Texas, no, you cannot do it here in the state of Texas. Oh no, okay. Wait.
I don't know.
In the state of Texas, I know you can't do it. So if you're in Texas, no, that is not an option for you. So you're better off just waiting until marriage, or I don't know what to tell you.
And that's all I'm saying, because I thought you couldn't, but if you can, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. In some states, I think you can still do that. But and I'm not advocating for that. I don't need people to say, oh, did you hear what Nicole said? She's in favor of that. Like, I'm just giving an example here.
Right.
Yeah, just giving an example here. So I just think, like you said before, in 2023, we've heard the stories. And if people aren't looking this up, there's actually more single mothers going on YouTube admitting and telling other women, wait until you're married. Even and people say, well, there's no guarantees. Well, hey, at least you try to put a family together. You know what I mean? I feel like you'll have better outcomes even in a situation like that versus you just went out and had a baby by a random man, and a man who clearly stated he does not want to commit to you. And
Right.
that's me personally. I have an issue with that. You know, when women try to say, well, if men would stop sleeping with a bunch of women, how do you think they're sleeping with us? How do you think they're sleeping with us? We are the gatekeepers of sex. Men cannot have sex with us without us saying yes. And please, let's stop using the examples of the R word, because when you look at the stats on why women have gotten, can I say that word on here?
No, no, no,
No,
no,
I
no,
can't.
no, no.
Okay,
Say hard.
when they've gotten the A word, I think there was a statistic I read somewhere where they said the reasoning is just because it wasn't from where the R word was like 1%. It was like
Mhm.
2% reason. So that
Yeah,
means 98% of women
it's
are
used as a form of birth control.
right. Exactly. That means
Yeah.
98% are volunteering. So it clearly, based on that, we're the ones that are giving men access to our
Mhm.
bodies. So
Thank
if
you.
we want to lessen that, we need to be wiser and smarter about who we lay down with. And quite frankly, wait until marriage. I'm not saying you gotta and see that's the thing too. People are like, so what should I do? I should just not have sex at all. Like I have desires, I have this, I have that. That's based on your own, that's your own personal choice. I think
Mhm.
the argument here is be smart, use precautions, and stop laying down with people you could not see yourself, I guess, having
Ever
kids with
been
or
with?
just marrying with, or
Mhm.
just being with long term. And I feel like that goes for both men and women. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because let's be real, some men have laid down with some Shaniquas. You know what I mean? From the hood. Like let's just be real. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, I we've come to a place where it's just not an excuse anymore. And when I hear women get on YouTube saying, you know, I didn't ask to be a single mother, but you did it twice.
Thank
You had a
you.
second baby from a different man, not married. I'm
Yes.
really confused by this. That's a choice, ma'am. And I
And
get
that's all
it.
I'm saying. Just
When
like robbing a bank is a choice. Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying.
so when and it's like I get it. When you find someone, you meet, everything's going great. You guys are going to share an intimate moment. At the end of the day, it falls back on us, and we
Mhm.
have to stop relying on what men are telling us and look at what men are showing us.
That is a fact. That is a fact. So, if you want to be a part of this conversation and ask a question or share your thoughts, make sure to put it in a super chat, put some color behind your words, and also support the channel. We need 10 supporters before the show is over. So, Cash App is Aaron 1000, or use a super chat also. So Add Truth drops a super chat. Thank you so much. They want more single mothers to promote consumerism. All right. I can understand what you're saying on that, but that would be the government, I would say. I'm saying, like, what are single mothers getting out of talking other single mothers into become other women into becoming single mothers? So Dana, who's in my culture group, shout out to Dana. It's weird that women will feel like they cannot find a suitable man for marriage, but he's suitable. Hold on, but how is he suitable for marriage? Hold on. Can I find suitable men for marriage? How is he suitable for marriage? I think she's saying, how is he suitable to have a baby with? I can only assume that she's saying that. So
Yeah.
this is a very this is a huge thing that I see on a normal basis. Women will always say, well, these men aren't worth this. These men are trash. These men are losers. These men are broke. But all of y'all got babies. So with all that being said, you can't find a man that's suitable for marriage, but all y'all got kids by somebody. So how do you not? Because in my opinion, and you let me know if I'm wrong, do you think one of the issues that we're having with women is they're so afraid of marriage where they'll have a baby by a dude, but they won't marry him because one thing is I can disconnect from the man and go about my business. You know, me and my little baby, me and little man, or me and my little pookie baby. and going about my business with my little Pookie baby. But if I'm married, I can't leave. Or what do you think about that? Do you think women fear marriage? It's a lot of background noise where you are, but if you can't do anything about it, don't worry about it. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry,
Are you
guys.
on headphones?
No, I'm not. And my AirPods are charging. I have to charge.
Okay,
Otherwise,
that's okay. I'm thinking it was the headphones, but it's okay.
okay. So what do I think? Do I think that women are afraid of marriage?
Yeah. Do you think women are so afraid of marriage they would rather circumvent marriage versus getting married? Because if they have a baby by a random dude, they have full control over their lives.
Wow, that is a great question. So that's really hard to answer because just in my world, the women want to get married. They're not afraid of marriage. I think what it is these days, women want to, in general, just kind of in our community, women say they want to be married, but what I think it is, they want to have a husband without being wives, if that makes sense.
Oh, elaborate.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna repeat that again. A lot of women in today's modern time, they want to be married, but they don't want it to be wives. And what I mean by that is they don't want the responsibility or the accountability of what it takes to become a wife. They just want to say, especially a lot of times, no offense, with a lot of self-proclaimed boss chicks, they just want to have this picture perfect image. And that's another topic I feel like we can talk about. I had a conversation with some of my girlfriends about how a lot of women use men as props, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
That's where I wanted to go. Yep.
Yeah, another day. But yeah, so they say, oh yeah, I want to be married and everything like that, but you don't want the responsibility of
Oh,
a wife and what that comes with it. And oh goodness, no disrespect. We see this example of what happened recently with Sierra and Russell Wilson, right? She gave the prayer. She let us know everything. She wanted to marry. She got married. But as you can see, based on her actions, she's not fully standing in her position as a
mhm.
wife. She's a clear example of what a woman says that she wants to be. She wants to have a husband, but she does not want to be a
Oh,
wife.
wow.
And I
Mhm.
men to the quality men out there who are probably watching this, like you really need to pay attention, which y'all do for the most part. I don't think I need to tell y'all this. You guys are pretty cognizant of paying attention to women before you ask for her name in marriage, but really watch her actions, really watch how she's speaking, and you'll be able to tell if she really actually wants the responsibility of being a wife. Like for me, it's like, yeah, of course I desire marriage. I'm not desperate for it. If it happens great. But I understand, I really genuinely am looking forward to the responsibilities of being a wife and mother. I don't want to just say I'm married just to say, look at me. I have a
Mhm.
husband, I have a ring. And if you notice, Aaron, a lot of times with these black couple goals and wedding pages, it's always the women just showing off the ring. They're never really
Yep.
talking about how happy they are with the man that just for the believers out there that God chose for them or that they chose and different things like that. It's just more of look at my ring. Look at
Mhm.
this and this and that. It's always about them. It's never about them together as a team, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
to answer your question, I hope that made sense of what I said. I don't think it's
Yeah.
more so that they're afraid of marriage. I think they're afraid of the responsibilities that come with it. And another transparent thing, right, that a lot of women won't admit is at the end of the day, going through a breakup is bad enough, but to go through a divorce, I can only imagine, is even more humiliating for both men and women, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of times in this day and age, I think because no thanks to social media, we want to save face so much. So it's a lot easier to say, hey, I got a baby, but I don't have to deal with the accountability or the responsibility if I fail as a wife.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a guy, and a lot of y'all know the Val. I think the Val and his he has a wife.
Mhm.
They do videos together all the time. You know who that is, right?
Yes, I love them actually.
Yeah, yeah. What's her name? What's her name? The
Oh,
Val and
oh my gosh, I forgot her name.
God, what's her name? But
That's not a bad thing though.
yeah, but the thing about it is they always show the ups and downs of their marriage. So this amazing couple talks about like not having sex, or I can't do this, I don't like this, or I almost cheated, or my kids get on my nerves, or she gotta lose some weight, or all these other things, right? So they talk about the ups and downs, the ins and outs, who gets on who nerves. Like the it's so dope how they're even easily able to just orchestrate, Kadeem, yeah, Deval and Kadeem, they're easily able to just articulate how they feel about each other. And it sometimes they get ridiculed, like, how can you let your man do this, how can you let your woman do this, and they take all the ridicule. But what they do is, this is real, this is an actual marriage, this is not just a ring or a house. No, we have real problems and we have real solutions, we have a real life. And I think that couple, if there were more couples like them, I think we'll have a better understanding of marriage. Like me, I was married before. I love being married. You know, it didn't work out because, you know, I was young and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, I would love to be married again because it's fun. And sometimes people look at marriage like the beginning of the end. You know, because like in all the Disney movies, they leave out and off in the sunset together, but you never know what happens after they leave, you know, after they get married and all the other stuff. So it's like, oh, I got the guy or I got the woman. And then the man is like, shit, I don't want to marry her though. That's scary. Or the woman is like, I want to marry him because it's scary. So this is what usually happens. A woman would brag about getting engaged. I've been engaged 4 times. So that means men want to marry me. So that is the validation that I need to make me feel like somebody wants me. So you can't say nobody doesn't want me, because 4 guys got on their knees, gave me a ring, and I said yes. But they ain't married. Why? Because they, like you said, they just want the ring. They just want the validation, but they don't care about being a wife. So I want to ask you a question. Do you think our women are using men for their sperm?
Whew. Do I think that women are you, when you say our women, I'm assuming you're referring to Black women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think
Black.
our women are using men for their sperm? And like I said, in my opinion, because I want to know what you think, but the goal is single motherhood. Even when a man wants to make you his wife, her goal is single motherhood. She don't know what he's thinking. Oh, I want to be with you. I want to marry you. Oh, awesome. Let's get married. Here's the ring. Cool. And between then and then, she has a baby. And now she's like, I got what I wanted. I don't want to marry you. I'm breaking the engagement. And now she can just run around and say, oh, I was engaged. I have a baby by my ex-fiance. And it makes her feel good about herself. But in the back of her mind, she never wanted to get married in the first place. She just wanted the baby.
I think a woman who's really desperate to have a baby, I would say yes, is using a man for his, like you said, his sperm. I've actually heard a story. A friend of a friend married a young lady. She was everything he had asked for before they got married. By the time they got
Mhm.
married, right, the sex is consistent. Whoop de whoop. It wasn't until after she had the baby she completely stopped everything. It was like, okay, I got what I needed from you. I'm shocked he's still married to her today. Maybe it's
Yeah.
because it's too expensive to leave, and unfortunately, you have women who are doing that these days. So I would say any woman who's desperate to have a baby for sure is possibly using men just specifically for that. And even Aaron, obviously you already know this. For some women, that's literally their life plan, right? Let me get married to the highest, and I feel naturally as women we go for the highest that we can go for.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have a baby by him. I'll be set. Maybe stay married to him for maybe 7 years. I can get some good child support or spousal support, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
done. You know, because there's some women who, and I think I've actually heard a woman admit that she has no other skill set in life but to be pretty and have babies, because
Yep.
that's going to be what feeds her and her child for the rest of her life. It's not like she'll be able to, she can, but she's accepted that, hey, I'm not going to be going out there starting a business. I'm not about to be some boss chick. This is the life plan. And I never even
Mm-hmm.
realized how conniving women can be, like where they literally, what's the word I'm looking for,
Coerce or trick
not
men.
or it's like, you know how men hunt women, when women literally have like they're like, I'm gonna not hunt him down, it's a different word that I'm looking for, like
Predators, like women are predators.
I guess
Predatory.
I was, they have this, there we go, we can use that, a very
Yeah.
predatorial view on the man that they're going for, like a target, there we go, like how they really target
Target men. Yeah.
certain men, and it's just like, wow, like
Yeah.
you really have to go that far for your own personal gain. And unfortunately, you know, the eights, the nines, and tens, they get away with it. Like
Mhm.
they know how to use it. They know what they're doing. So I'm not here to say whether that's right or wrong, because then I'm gonna sound like I'm hating,
Mhm.
but it is what it is. So out of desperation, out of a life plan, then I would say possibly, yeah, they're probably using men.
So a lot of women, because I seen a video, it was on Instagram, where the guy was saying how men love women, or men get attached to women way deeper than women get attached to men. So it's like in the beginning, a woman gets attached to a man, right? But it's like once they get deep into a relationship or a marriage, she can turn off how she feels instantly and just get out the situation, and get child support, take the man to court, or get alimony, and then boom, she go gets with another dude and she's happy. Now that dude feels like, man, I feel so stupid. Like she's sucking me dry and we ain't even together no more. And that's the biggest fear to men. But the biggest problem with that isn't the money, is the fact that she broke his heart. And
Okay.
now he's not only making, money that he has to give away to a woman in like three different ways: alimony, child support, and whatever, court fees. His heart is also broken. But in the back of her mind, all she wanted was to be with this man long enough to get child support, to get alimony, to get spousal support so she can be out. So when it comes to us as men, we want some ass, right? We may say, I want to be with you and all this other stuff, and we get some ass in 3 months or a month. Next thing you know, we out. That's hurtful. I get
Yes.
it. Men are manipulative. Men be lying. Men be married and everything. I get it. But that man most likely does not break your heart, because once he gets the ass, he's out. You ain't heartbroken. You just mad that he just got the ass. Because if you fall in love with a man in a month or 2 months, you
That
crazy.
happens for women. That
Well,
has happened
they're
for women.
mentally ill. The women are mentally ill, because how the hell you fall in love with a man and y'all just have sex for the first time? But what I'm saying is, when you get your heart broken, is when y'all been together for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
So
That
you
is,
don't believe someone can fall in love in 6 months?
yeah, but they don't get their heart broken.
I disagree with that. As a woman, I completely disagree with that. And going back to what you were saying, you saw a post of a man saying a woman is her, she can switch up her feelings in the beginning what she's into him in the beginning and then she changes afterwards. So
Mhm.
the opposite has actually happened to me quite often. I'll
Okay.
usually not in the beginning just because of my guard. I may not be as into the guy as he is into me. Then
Mhm.
as we're carrying the relationship along, that's when like my feelings are growing and I'm there and I'm loyal and different things like that. But then it's happened to me before where a man switches his feelings for me and it's like now I'm more into you than you are into me.
Mhm.
And it's so weird, but it's like you wanted me to be into you. And I feel like with my dating experience, I feel like y'all low key want women who aren't that into you subconsciously. I just feel that because it's like if we show our vulnerability, if we show that we're here for you and that we love and care about you, it's like, okay, I got her now. Like I know she's into me. It's like your egos are stroked. You know what I'm saying?
I
It's like that's why you're
I
always
disagree.
courting and chasing the woman who seems like she's unattainable. But you get annoyed at the same time. I keep hearing this other advice, but you got to put in effort with the man and show him you're into him too. It's like, which one
Mhm.
is it?
Well, I think it's both. I think a man, I don't think it ever happens at the same time. And I think that's one of the issues. Either the man is more into you or the woman is more into him. And then as time goes by, something changes. A man starts to really, because for us in particular, it takes we can pursue a woman, but we're not in love with her. We don't know her. We
Mm,
just like her or want her for whatever reason.
mm,
And once we start having sex, and once everything starts, the ball starts rolling, you now become more into us. And I think that's natural. And it's not that we got her and we don't want her no more. Sometimes, and it's happened to me before, once the woman becomes really into you, she becomes a problem where she things change and you like, yo, why are you more this and more that? And we enjoy you who you were at first. So you turn around and flip where now you're like almost annoying.
in
Where
what
it's like,
way? Give an example. Like, what do you mean becomes a problem? Like, what does that mean?
okay, say me and you get together, everything's going great or whatever. I like you, you like me. And then we
Mhm,
start having sex, and then um you really start liking me, but I start liking you too,
mhm.
but you start getting insecure about what I do on social media. And say I do a video with another beautiful woman and you don't say anything, but you have a problem with what I'm saying or what I'm doing. Or I'm on my phone and you know what I do for a living, and it's a problem me being on my phone. And I'm like, yo, this is what is wrong with you? And you turn into this new person, and you're like, I'm not yours. I'm not your property. We're growing something together, but now you are kind of making me feel like I'm yours. I'm mine and you're yours. You're not me, you're not mine, and I'm not yours. Like I'm myself and you're yourself. And then it turns into this tug of war where it's like I'm fighting for myself. And it's due to the woman's insecurities. And sometimes men are like this. It's due to the man's insecurities. So yeah, I've seen that myself, and women become a little bit more angry, cantankerous, possessive, jealous, and you like, yo, I'm yours. I mean, I'm not yours, but we're together. Chill. These other women aren't coming home with me.
Right.
Like for example, I want a woman that I can go to strip club with and stuff, whatever, right? I might like what I see out here, but I'm going home with you. Like, so yeah, sometimes a woman can easily become super annoying to a man once she's fell in love with him, and now he don't want to be with her no more because now things are uncomfortable.
Or a lot of women believe like after if if I've had sex with you a second time, we go together. Or if I had sex with you a third time, we go together now.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And I think subconsciously, even if we admit, like, no, I don't feel like that, I understand, like, unless we effectively communicate that we're exclusive, then that's not the case. But based on our biology, unfortunately, we start to bond.
Mhm.
know, sorry about that. We could tell the man, yeah, no, I understand, I get it. But then it's like if we don't hear from him like we used to, we gonna start feeling some type of way, whether we want to admit
Mhm.
that or not, even though he already said he's not really looking for a relationship. He just wants to
Mhm.
chill, get to know you and all this stuff like that. So it plays out in some shape or form.
Yeah, and to us, it just becomes so much of an annoyance where we just rather stay single.
Wow. I have, yeah, oh wow.
Because once a relationship starts, it turns into an issue. But this is what's crazy. I or a man can turn around and get with a woman that doesn't want something, and the man don't want something, and as long as that understanding is there, they can be together for years. But the second something turns into a relationship and we're in a relationship together, now is a problem. So even to us men, I can understand why women are afraid of marriage. But I'm saying this: if we can't be in a relationship with each other without having boundaries and all this other stuff, we definitely can't be married. So it makes sense for it to end because you don't want to marry, or you don't want somebody to marry anybody to marry a person that they cannot get along with or be in unison with in a relationship. Why would you want to marry that person? So I think those situations, what you were saying, it was good that they ended because y'all just weren't in sync. But yeah, I think women uh, are so comfortable being alone, so comfortable running their own households, where they just don't want to give up the control of a man's leadership.
Yeah.
Therefore, they'd rather just be single mothers.
Yeah, yeah, and it goes back to, right, to the whole, like, I don't want to be held accountable for my actions. I don't want anyone to have an opinion on what I wear, right? Again, the whole Sierra Russell situation is a clear
Mhm.
example. I don't
Right.
want a man to really make the decision on where we live and where we move and different things of that nature, even though his reasoning makes sense. I want to do what I want to do, and
Mhm.
the bottom line is, once you become a wife, you know you can't just do what you want to do. It just
Mhm.
is what it is, because you're an extension of that man. Everything you
Right.
do, like, literally, you take on his last name. Like, let's
Mhm.
really think about this. I'm literally will be changing my identity for a man, and I'm an extension of him. So the way I carry myself, how I dress, how I treat people is going to fall back on him.
Right.
So it is the responsibility of us as women, those, and we're speaking to those who actually want to be wives.
Mhm.
It is our responsibility to respect that man on a level to where, one, he doesn't have to be embarrassed about the decisions that we make when he's not around, when he's around and when he's not around. So I really, I think for me personally, I don't understand why that's such a hard concept to grasp. I don't understand why that it so hard to relinquish, like you said, control or freedom, I guess, so to
It's
speak.
freedom. Yeah, it's freedom. I think that's the word. It's freedom. I think men want it too sometimes, right? But we're not running around, successful men, I would say. We're not
Right.
running around just making random babies everywhere like a lot of these women are. Because almost every woman has a baby and a baby daddy.
And to speak to that, because even some older gentlemen that I've met still don't have children, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like, they'll be 45, 46 and still don't have a kid. And I used to think there was something wrong with that, just because when I would share with some women, like, oh yeah, I'm talking to this guy, he's older, and then they automatically assume he had a child. I'm like, no, he doesn't have a child yet. Oh, he must be gay. Or,
Right.
there's something wrong with him. He must not
Mhm.
like women. And now I realize, and we're speaking about a certain type of man, especially the successful, driven type of man. He's protecting his seed. He's protecting his legacy. He's not just about to give that to any woman. And I really, really appreciate those men.
Yeah. And I would say this, I got two daughters, they both are grown, but I haven't had a new daughter or a new kid in over 20 years. And it's the best thing I've ever did, because like I don't have any child support. I don't have all this stupid crap that other guys have to deal with, you know. So some men
And can
now.
we speak to that real quick? Because you know what people
Mhm,
are going to say, oh, well, you're single, you got two kids. And it's like, well, it's not looked at the same way. So, like, let's just say, for example, that I was married before and I had two kids right now as we speak, and we're going
mhm,
back out into the dating scene.
mhm,
Women are more likely to be at any age, regardless whether they have a kid or not, are more receptive to date you, even though the fact that you have two grown kids, it's a little different than, say, for me, if I were to have two grown, two kids, it's
mhm.
not as appealing, I should say,
Well, the
because
kids
I
are
have a
grown.
friend.
Why?
Huh?
If the kids
Why?
are grown, why? Like the kids are
Well,
grown in the
okay, if the
house?
kids are grown.
Because you got to look at it like this. Most of the time, if a man is single, most of
Mhm.
the time, because my kids did live with me at one point,
Okay.
the kids don't live with the man. But most of the time, with the woman, the kids live with a woman. So, regardless of how old the kids are, if they're still in the house, they're somewhat of a different variable that a guy has to deal with. If the child
Okay.
is 5 or the child is 16, if they're in the household, that's another variable that a guy has to consider.
Okay, so we're talking about kids who are not no longer living at home, basically, anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
they're no longer living at home, why would that be an issue? And let me know if I might be wrong.
No, 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 no. If you're telling me as a man, like that would not be an issue for y'all.
Uh,
Like if you dated a woman who had kids, but they're no longer living with her, they're grown, and she can still go out here and find a decent quality man, then
mhm.
that's good.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. So Ellen Harding says, thank you for the super chat. It's the fear of less contact because he becomes too busy for her. Yeah, that's an issue. Men, you know,
Mhm.
like I'm very mentally busy. Like if I'm in town, because I do travel, but if I'm in town, I don't be doing a lot. I'll be in the house. But it's a lot of mental, just like putting this show together, putting a thumbnail together, putting an idea together, putting the notes together. Because when I do a show with somebody, I put together enough of a show where if something happened where you don't show up, I can still put on an hour-long show without falling apart, looking crazy, and fumbling around with stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of work. Finding content, so it's a lot of mental work that a woman would look at like, you ain't doing nothing. Why you ain't call me? Or there's a little light on Instagram that shows people that they online, and women would be like, why he ain't calling me back? But so he on Instagram, but he ain't call me back.
Right, or he couldn't text me back. I just texted him, but he's on Instagram. I just DM him, but he hasn't replied to my DM.
He just
Yes.
posted in his stories, or I might post a video, and might be like, oh really? Seriously? You ain't answer my call, but you post. But I post. It's my job. It's how I make money. This is what I got
I
to deal with.
just I just don't understand how hard it is for y'all just to send a 30-second text. I got it. Like, I got your text message. I'll hit you back later.
What's
I
the
don't understand
purpose
how
of
hard
that?
it. You said, what's the purpose of that?
Okay, say you send a text and it's conversational. It's
Mhm.
not good morning. Good morning, cool. Good morning. But if it's conversational, hey, my mom came over and I can't believe what she just said to me. Something like that, right?
Mhm.
If I got shit to do, I'm not gonna reply to that, because guess what? it's going to prompt you to call me and tell me about your mama. Or either you're going to send me. No, I don't want to get in a conversation about whatever's going on with you, because if I don't ignore it now, I'm going to ignore it the next time you text. Because now we're in a conversation. Or either I'm going to be prompted to call. I got stuff to do.
Or Aaron, how's the recording coming along? Or Aaron, how did the study go?
Okay, if I was to say good and that was it, you're going to be like, what's wrong with you? You already know, anybody, any human on the planet says, how's your day going? And you just get a text back, good, something's wrong.
Yes. So true.
You ask a kid, how's your day? Good, something's wrong. You ask your man, hey, how's your day? Good, something's wrong. You ask a woman, hey, how's your day? Good, something's wrong. What are you talking about? And this be the problem why people so single. And like I said, and I understand because I'm single. I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with people being single, but it's the people, it's the single mother vampires out here who try to push women into staying single because it ain't no good men out there, and that woman is projecting her fear on another woman. Oh, you ain't got no kids? You better get pregnant before it's too late. And you like, no, I'm gonna find a husband. Out here, ain't no good men out here. These men are trash. And you like, why is you projecting how you feel about men onto me?
Right. And why do you assume that your experiences are like mine? Because I'll hear these women say, oh, these men are no good. Or I went to a live taping for it was like a live taping YouTube thing, whatever. And I was describing certain men out there, and she was like, where do you find those at? And I'm looking at her like, well, aside from obvious reasons, physically, she didn't meet the demands of those types of men.
I was
right?
just about to say that. Do y'all look at each other and be like, bitch, you fat? Of course you ain't finding no man.
Listen, and see, and that needs to be another thing for another live, because it's like, look, sis, if we gonna keep it all the way real, let's keep it all the way real. And I think also too, for another live, we need to talk about how some of the Black churches and these pastors are also keeping Black women single as well. Like, that's
I
a real
agree.
thing. Like, I just want to use this real quick example. There'll be maybe a pastor talking about telling Black women they can find their Boaz, but they don't have to change for a man, and the right man will want you and accept you where you're at, even with the extra weight on your body. And I'm thinking to myself, these women really need to pay attention, because guess what? I'm asking the pastor, why isn't your wife overweight? No, seriously.
I agree.
Why you say, oh, looks don't matter, and telling these men don't just go for the looks, go for her heart, which I would say for long term.
Why is it that the only women in your church you're sleeping with are the fine women?
There we go, sir. Your wife is pretty. She meets the physical requirements, but you're telling the men in the audience not to go for looks, and you're telling the women who clearly need to work on the outer appearance to attract the man that they want. And it's just so hypocritical. Like, I personally, I don't fall for that. Like, so it's just that's all. I'm trying to figure out how I even got into that example. I don't know why, but
it's okay. It's okay. So I want to ask a couple questions. We talked about do women fear marriage? And I think women do. Are women becoming single mothers because of their negative perception of marriage? I think we kind of talked about that. Are women projecting their trauma onto younger women? I think we talked about that. But why do you think women seem to have a habit of projecting their fears and trauma onto to younger women who don't have kids?
So we as women, we want to always feel like we're part of a community or people. We want to feel like other people relate to us and go through what we go through. So if I'm at, for example, again, that evening where I was the odd one out the group who does not have a child out of wedlock, it's like, well, we need to make you feel like you're a part of us. So you should go out there and have a child out of wedlock. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I just feel like it's more of a communal thing. So I just feel like sometimes it's subconscious. Women don't realize they're doing it, but there are women, especially I notice, who are 45 and up, who are really doing it.
Yeah.
Like, no, F these men. You just need to go and don't wait on no man to do this. Just go and do that. And I feel like because they quote unquote ruin their lives, and some people might say
Mm-hmm.
it's fair to say I ruined my life because I'm a single mom. Well, let's
Why
just
is it not fair to say if you're a single mom, you've ruined your life to a certain degree? You know, your life isn't in the toilet, but you've ruined it.
okay, you maybe didn't make the wisest decision. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say. That's what I'm gonna stick with. So it's like, because I didn't, you shouldn't be able to either. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be able to reap the benefits of making better choices than I. And I think sometimes, and nobody's going to admit this, I can only imagine the type of seething envy or jealousy when a woman sees another Black woman actually wait until marriage and get
Mm-hmm.
married to a quality man, and now she's taken care of, she has a family unit. That's that kind of hurts.
Because think about this. If a woman thinks she's as pretty as you, whether she's delusional or she is, right? She wasn't able to do it. So in her mind, you're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
And then at the same time, women want to feel like, I don't want you to be able to do it, because if you do it, it's going to make me feel like I did do something wrong. But if you become a single mother, just like I'm a single mother, I'm not a problem. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest issue. Women want women to be single mothers or become single mothers so the woman who is a single mother can feel better about her own life
Yes.
of being a single mother. Well, like for example, right? Say, going back to, I've never been in prison, but say I've been in prison, right? And you are like, oh wow, you went to prison. Click, I ain't talking to you no more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the next dude you date been in prison, and the next dude, and say you find out all these dudes have been in prison. At some point, you're gonna be okay with dating a man that's been in prison. Your homegirl dating a man who been in prison. You're like, oh, all these dudes, they just thugs. I like those type of dudes, and you're gonna be like, okay. And then you're finally gonna start dating a lower type of man. So when it comes to single mothers, I believe if all of y'all are fat, we would be okay with dating fat chicks. If all of y'all were single mothers, all of us would have no choice but to be with single mothers. So I think that's the problem. If all women were combative and angry and loud, we would have no choice but being with a combative, angry, loud woman. So I think they actually are, instead of making a change, they rather make a change to other people. And I think that's just the nature of our women. Instead of making a change, if you're fat, instead of you changing you being fat to you being skinny, you tell a woman that's not fat that something's wrong with her so she can become fat. And guess what? The majority of y'all family members do that shit.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah.
When I've moved to Texas probably like 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my much younger years, people would say, "Girl, you need to put some meat on your bones." There was really nothing wrong with me. I was just petite. I was just
Mm-hmm.
super petite.
Yeah.
You need to eat. You need to put some meat on your bones. And I'm like, I'm thinking, looking at them like, well, why? I'm at a healthy weight for my
Mm-hmm.
height. I'm not that tall. I cannot put on that much weight,
Right.
and it made me feel so bad about myself. And I think that's what they wanted to do. It was clear that, I'm just assuming, maybe my healthy weight was intimidating them. They didn't want to be reminded that, hey, maybe I should get myself in the gym and eat healthier. But instead of doing that, let me make this girl right here, who's clearly
Mm-hmm.
at a healthy weight, let me make her feel bad so I don't have to feel bad about not taking care of myself.
Right. So I, in particular, am on this journey to push women in the opposite direction. More women who get therapy is normalized. More women who actually want to get married before they have a baby becomes normalized. Women who are cooperative and not argumentative towards men become normalized. Women who are going to the gym on a normal basis and being fit is normalized. And next thing you know, we have a better group of women to choose from instead of being the other way. So I am simply here to help counteract the dysfunction that is our Black women. Because like I said, these women out here operate like vampires. They are trying to infect other women with dysfunction and turn other women into dysfunctional human beings. So we men won't have a choice but to be with a dysfunctional human being. There's a there's a series called The Last of Us. And my daughter used to play the video game, and now it turns into a series. And the significance of this series is, it's like a zombie apocalypse, right? But in this particular thing, they said it's not a zombie apocalypse, it's a fungus. And this fungus actually is real life. If anybody wants to, you don't have to, but look up zombie beetles. In tropical climates, there's a fungus that actually takes over insects, bees, beetles, ants, and they actually become the undead. And the only way they survive is they have to infect another insect, because the spores end up dying off and they need to go from one body to another body, just like zombies. And it's a real thing. And this series called The Last of Us is about how global warming has made the entire world just warmer, where the infection that what a fungus that was in the beetles is now able to be in us, because our bodies are actually warmer than a beetles, because they're like cold-blooded animals, right? And it can survive in. So if it can survive in us, we would actually turn into zombies or whatever and infect each other. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is, why is a zombie trying to eat another zombie? In the zombie movies, it never made any sense. But in this, the Last of Us, it actually makes sense, because the fungus, the only way the fungus can continue to grow if it's more fungi around. So just like with single mothers, the only way single mothers can actually grow or feel happy in their own skin is if it was other single mothers. So think about it. If it was one woman that got two kids by two different dudes, right? And she lives in a city where she was the only single mother. Everybody around her was married or no kids. She literally wouldn't be able to survive in that environment, like the fungus. Now the fungus would die off, and a woman wouldn't die off because, she's just a person, but emotionally she would die off. She would feel alone. She would feel judged everywhere she goes. She goes into the store with her little fatherless kids. They looking at her like, there she go. That's that girl who got two baby daddies, right? She wouldn't feel good she emotionally wouldn't be able to survive.
Yeah.
So, to a certain degree, and I know I'm going crazy with it, but single motherhood is almost like a fungus that has to spread to other women in order for the fungus to survive. And single mothers are literally looking to infect women who don't have kids with single motherhood in order for single motherhood itself to survive.
That's deep. I didn't look at it that way. I am gonna have to run.
Oh yeah, you said you had to go.
Yeah, but yeah, so overall for me, my message is, I think we just have to get to a place in our communities where we do choose marriage over single motherhood. I think
Mhm.
that'll just, as a collective, work out better in our favors.
Yeah.
And I know for me, that's my standard. I'm not having children before marriage. So that's that.
So I want to say this before you go. I want to thank you for holding it down for the women who don't have kids, because it's hard for y'all, because to the single mothers, y'all are the problem. But to us as men, y'all are the solution.
Oh, Aaron, that's so sweet. Thanks.
All right. Have a good rest of your day. All right.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, even though my way of articulating that was probably extreme, people look at me like I have these extreme analogies, but altogether, it's an actual issue. It's an actual issue. And yeah, TikTok, if any of you want to come up and hold on. Yeah, if any of you on TikTok wants to come up and voice your opinion about what we've been talking about, pull on up and you can be my guest. So if anybody wants to come up on TikTok, hit a little button and I'll have you up. I got y'all connected on the speaker now. And YouTube and Facebook, make sure to share this video with somebody as you're watching, and drop a super chat and contribute to the channel, and also drop a cash app, Aaron1000. And I appreciate the people who did drop super chats thus far. But I think women are getting engaged simply so they could say they have been engaged. I think women are getting pregnant and leaving men simply because they never wanted the man in the first place, and they were using the man in order to have a baby. I think things are so bad where women are literally using men for their sperm. And I want to play a couple of videos, but make sure y'all hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
Like, what do y'all want to be? Do you guys want to be somebody's wife?
Hold on, let me start it over. Y'all listen to this.
But what's your end goals? Like, what do y'all want to be? Do you guys want to be somebody's wife? What do you want to be?
Well, sometimes I don't really know if I necessarily want to get married.
You want to have kids?
I do want to have kids, but I'm not sure if I want to get married.
You want to have kids, but you don't know if you want to get married. So that means that you already going to be, you're planning to already bring this child into and have a deficit in their life, right?
I mean, I feel like if I find the right person, we could get married. Sometimes I don't really have a lot of faith
But
in
do you have to find
niggas.
the right person to have the baby?
I do think I have to find the right person to have a kid, but I also feel like I'm in a position where I'm doing things for my own, so I would completely be okay with having to take on their responsibility by myself.
Y'all hear this? I want to start this over because I want y'all to know that this is a typical Black woman. This is not just her. This is the typical Black woman.
But what's your end goals? Like, what do y'all want to be? Do you guys want to be somebody's wife? What do you want to be?
Well, sometimes I don't really know if I necessarily want to get married.
You want to have kids?
I do want to have kids, but I'm not sure if I want to get married.
You want to have kids, but you don't know if you want to get married. So that means that you already going to be, you're planning to already bring this child into and have a deficit in their life, right?
I mean, I feel like if I find the right person, we could get married. Sometimes I don't really have a lot of faith in
But do you have to find the right person to have the baby?
I do think I have to find the right person to have a kid, but I also feel like I'm in a position where I'm doing things for my own, so I would completely be okay with having to take on their responsibility by myself as far as financial shit go. If I have.
So she says as far as financial shit goes, right? Now let's play this video. Y'all hit the like button, contribute to the channel, drop a super chat. Cash app is Aaron1000. Listen to this.
Before I became a parent. One thing I wish I knew before I became a parent. You can provide everything for your child and still be a terrible parent. So many people focus on the financial part of parenting and forget that the most important part is the emotional availability. It's also realizing that your children are not responsible for your trauma. Your children are not responsible for your healing. I know so many people that have spoiled their children and their children don't even talk to them now. The first thing my mother said when I asked her to take accountability for my trauma,
I had a job and I provided everything. But I put food on the table. I was a single mom, and I did it by myself.
People that don't have a kid yet, please hear me out. Financially providing for a child is the bare minimum. You're supposed to do that. Providing for a child and raising a child are two very different things. One thing I wish I knew before I became a mother, you have to listen to your child twice as much as you talk to them. I've had a lot of parents tell me,
well, I provide my children with everything. I'm emotionally there for them, and they're still ungrateful.
If your child still doesn't listen and lacks in those areas, baby, when I tell you, if your children are not listening to you, you might not be listening to them. You might not be listening to them. You might not be listening to them. The same way you want your children to earn respect through life, you have to earn their respect. Giving birth to a child does not mean that they owe you anything.
And going back to this,
for my own, so I would completely be okay with having to take on their responsibility by myself as far as financial shit go, if I have to.
See, these sorry sack women out here think that it only takes money to raise a child. They don't realize the emotional awareness, the emotional fortitude it takes to take care of another human being. Like, it's a lot. You know, me and my ex-wife raised 2 girls. It's a lot raising girls versus boys. I'm sure if I had 2 boys instead of 2 girls, it would have been totally different. And I would have been saying it's a lot in the opposite way. But it's a lot. I gave my kids a whole lot of attention. I was in my kids' face literally every day. I changed Pampers. I got up in the middle of the night. I did all of the parent stuff. And I used to love the fact that sometimes when my daughter's in the other room crying, I ain't got to get up because, you know, I got a wife laying next to me and we taking turns. So for a woman to actually have to get up every night, not get enough sleep, and do all these different things, child walking around hollering, you can't even be on the phone without the child making noise. You got to look after this child through the whole time you're at home with the child. You can't focus on whatever it is you're doing on the computer because the child is over here tearing something up. It's a lot of work. But sadly, all these women want is a baby. And that's really it. They don't care about nothing else. And then what they end up doing is they end up hurting the child, not on purpose, not intentionally, but they end up hurting the child simply because the woman doesn't have enough bandwidth to take care of it. The woman doesn't have enough bandwidth to be emotionally available to the child. And this is part of the issue. This is part of the issue. Hold on. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Hold on. Let me get your volume right. Oh, hell. All right. Say something now.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's going on with you? How you doing?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Yeah, I just wanted to come on board and just say congratulations to your channel, dog. You be spitting some hot, good stuff, dog. But I wanted to speak on what you were talking about, in particular about what these moms are doing to the children.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm gonna use my example for demonstration that I haven't seen my daughter in about 6 years.
You haven't seen your daughter
And,
in 6 years?
Yeah, I haven't seen her in 6 years.
Wow.
And I can show you child support payment because I got a bankruptcy, right? And you know, when you're in the bankruptcy, you know, you got to put all your payments, including child support, in those payments every month, right? And it's a good amount of money. So I haven't seen her in a good amount of time. And what a lot of moms don't realize, and this is what I'm doing through my little own pathway through my nonprofit, is trying to educate women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And can you hear me good, man?
I can hear you now.
Hold on, I think let me do this right quick. All right, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you better now.
Yeah, I had to take the earbuds out.
So
you got a little bit of an echo, but it's not bad.
Oh yeah, so the echo's there now. It's low. So okay, so what how do you deal with your situation then?
Oh man, well, to be honest, I was my situation goes deep. It really go deep. I was wrongfully incarcerated for pursuing actions like against things that happened to my son. Right? And I had it all on my social media account, but I took everything down because nobody cares about what men go through for their kids. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care at all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about they don't give a rat's tail about men doing what they need to do for their children. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But I was wrongfully incarcerated because, you know, women lie about men not doing for their children.
Yeah.
Right? And they lie in particular to the judge. Right? A woman will go to the courtroom and tell the court that a dad is not doing things for their child, and they actually be doing everything for their child. Do you hear me? And can actually prove it through documentation. And they underestimate who real fathers are.
Yeah.
Right? To where they put this time in, they do these things, you know, and they take the child away from the dad, right? And cause so much trauma to the child. They cause so much things. I'm talking about, I would be glad to have another talk with you, man, to let your viewers know more about my story. Because
I would love
it's
to.
been really, really bad on like myself, like, and just what I've been dealing with. It's just been crazy. Like,
let's do this.
It's echoing a little bit, man.
Yeah, the echo is a little crazy, but send me a DM and we could probably do we can do a show together or whatever and talk about that.
Yeah, man, because I think your viewers will get a lot of like information about what I've been through, because a lot of men are going through this, and a lot of children. I've been an educator. I was wrongfully incarcerated and couldn't get my education job back because of what I went through. But I'm gonna send you a message, man, and I'm sorry about the echoing.
Oh, it's
and
cool.
I'll be back in touch with you.
All right, brother, send me a DM.
Okay, man.
All right.
All right.
All right, sorry about the echo, y'all. That was a lot. So hold on a second. All right. Plug that back in. Boom. Okay. So now we good. But yeah, I would love to have a man on the show and talk about his situation, because what he said was hopefully everybody was able to hear him. What he said was, these women will have a baby with you and then literally ruin your life to the point where you can actually go to jail. This man went to jail and he was able to prove that he was there for his child, but he still went to jail. So yeah, I would love to have that conversation with him. But a lot of women who are single mothers feel that single motherhood is a good thing. Single motherhood is not a good thing. If you are a single mother, I'm not here to make you feel bad, because you being a single mother, that's the life you led. It is what it is, but you still deserve love, as long as you're not fat and lazy and all the other stuff. But as long as you're working on yourself and doing what you need to do, physically and emotionally, you getting therapy, you treating your child right. You're not like the guy that was just on here talking about how his baby mama had him going to jail. As long as you're a good person and you take care of yourself, a guy would easily be with a woman who has one kid. I don't want kids. I don't want no more kids. And I got 2 daughters now. So I'm totally okay with dating a woman who has a child. So it's plenty of us that would date a woman that has a child. But the thought process of single motherhood is the actual biggest problem. And for those of you ladies who think that single motherhood is a good thing, you're problematic. Being a single mother and the thought process of single motherhood are 2 different things. And I think one day we'll come to an understanding where we're able to compartmentalize the 2 things instead of looking at it as, you hate single mothers, you hate women. No, I hate the ideology and the normalization of single motherhood. And guys, I need y'all to be careful out here, because a woman would act like she wants to be with you simply so she can have your baby. And the day she says she's pregnant, by the time that child turns 2, it's almost a guarantee y'all ain't gonna be together no more. And you are gonna be on child support looking crazy. Because going back to this video, that's exactly what she's saying. She don't care about marriage.
Doing things for my own, so I would completely be okay with it.
All they care about is doing things on their own.
Right person to have the baby?
I do think I have to find the right person to have a kid, but I also feel like I'm in a position where I'm doing things for my own, so I would completely be okay with having to take on that responsibility by myself as far as financial shit go, if I have to.
I don't think that's okay.
And what she's saying is, I want to have a baby by myself. That's what she's saying. She's saying, I want to have
responsibility by myself as far as financial shit go, if I have to.
I don't think that's okay.
I don't think it's okay neither, but I feel like it's the reality of like the generation that we live in, because I just feel like that's how most of these niggas are. I do.
No, those are the niggas that you going after. You got to find somebody that's going to.
But I don't really be going after nobody. It be the people that be coming after me. Honestly.
So think about this. If y'all don't be going after these low-life dudes, and they be going after you, and if they low lives, why do you let them get you? Think about that. She says, well, I don't be going after these low life dudes. They be going after me. But they still get you? They still obtain you? They still get you pregnant? You still have a baby with them? And this is the problem, y'all. This is the problem. Women love to sit around and call all these men names. These men are trash. These men ain't this. But y'all have a baby with them in a minute. Why? Because all y'all want is a baby. Y'all want to experience childbirth. And y'all don't give a damn about these children. And that in itself is why I do what I do, and how a lot of y'all act like y'all care about kids, but all y'all want is a damn baby. Y'all want the feeling of being a mother. Y'all want to have motherhood, but y'all don't want to be mothers. Y'all don't want to be wives. See, y'all don't want to take on these actual roles. You don't want to be a wife. You just want to be a damn mother. And it's sad. But I am out. I hope y'all learned something, and I hope this was entertaining. Make sure to hit the like button on your way out, and also share this video with everybody you can, because until I fix my channel has been shadow banned. And I'm talking to what I'm talking with YouTube, talking with a YouTube person tomorrow. So hopefully we can fix this mess. But I need everybody to not only subscribe to the channel, but hit the notification bell, so my channel will notify you when I go live, because it's not notifying anybody because my channel is shadow banned. And I got to figure out how to figure all that out. So y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Hold on. How are women supposed to be a wife if men are being told that marriage does not benefit men? Well, it doesn't benefit men. But guess what? If you find a man to marry you, he ain't going to use you and take you for your money like women do. There are plenty of men out here who actually do want to get married. You just got to find one. But no, marriage is not beneficial to men. Marriage is beneficial to the legacy of the man. Marriage is beneficial to the child growing up in that household. So y'all have a good rest of y'all day.